Hello guys, we're in a phenomenal day. Ethan Bailey here. Welcome back to another YouTube video. Now in this video, we're going to break down the Rolls-Royce ad, exactly the overview of it, analysis of why it was so effective. And without further ado, let's get into it. So the Rolls-Royce ad breakdown, the overview. So firstly, who wrote the ad? It was the legendary one and only David Ogilvy. When was it written? It was written in 1958, but posted and printed in March 1959. What was its purpose? To sell the Rolls-Royce Silver Cloud. And then what was the outcome? They doubled the sales for Rolls-Royce. Now, this is the ad right here. So before we go into analysis, just some very, very quick information. So firstly, this ad was so successful due to its unique structure. So it had three kind of columns, one headline. So 3 columns, one headline, one subheadline, and a massive image. Back then, this was very, very unique and different. It wasn't very common to have an ad like this. That's why the unique structure was so good, and it was targeting wealthy businessmen who desired kind of peace and quiet during speed. And the beauty of this, it leads with a very, very big idea. It also breaks down benefits and not features. So instead of saying what it's made out of, it can potentially say how fast it goes. Because, for example, if something's made out of specific material, I mean it's light, so it can go faster, that type of thing. And it also touches on physical and financial, social and spiritual needs, rather than just the physical needs. Now, let's go into the analysis. Firstly, start with the image. Very, very simple. Kids pick up the groceries for the mum, it looks like, in the image. Now, although it's targeting wealthy businessmen who desire, speed and peace of mind, this is an image that a lot of people can relate to, and people can really picture and imagine and feel this. It's a very, very common thing. Going to groceries, everyone can relate to it and everyone can resonate to it. Now, touching on the headline, at 60 miles an hour, the loudest noise in this new Rolls-Royce comes from the electric clock. Firstly, at 60 miles an hour, it means speed, so it means it's very, very fast, and the loudest thing you can hear is an electric clock. Now, electric clocks are quite quiet. The beauty of this, it didn't just say clock, because some clocks can hear a tick-tick noise, but an electric clock, so a clock that, is very, very quiet. So it's saying that basically when you go really, really fast, the loudest thing you can hear is a quiet clock, so it's very, very quiet. And at the time, obviously, the market desire was all about speed, power, horsepower, etc. And all the cars are very, very loud, kind of like revving the engine, and it can get on people's nerves. Now, this one here, why it's such a unique, big idea, was it was talking about the speed and desire, or the market desire of speed and horsepower, but driving very quietly. Now, I know it's a bit blurry, but this is the subheading. So what makes Rolls-Royce the best car in the world? There's really no magic about it. It's merely patient attention to detail, says an eminent Rolls-Royce engineer. Now, firstly, it's a very, very big claim. What makes the Rolls-Royce best car in the world? A very, very big claim. States that it already is, and what's the reason behind that? And some people may be even thinking that. Now, it says as well by an eminent Rolls-Royce engineer. So that's a very, very high up, engineer. So it's that authority. Now, if a standard engineer was saying it, or maybe an apprentice, it'd be like, all right, okay, but this is a professional industry expert, authority figure of an eminent Rolls-Royce engineer. So people more like to believe it because there's some authority behind it. It talks about the patient attention to detail as well, which means they're very, very peculiar and pedantic about how everything is crafted together, making it, seem more valuable. So what they do as well here is they just list all the benefits of the actual product. So you can see number 1 is the title. So the first bit is basically touching on the quiet, the engine. So the high horsepower is very, very quiet, which means it's like a perfect market desire at that time. And it says number 2 here, every Rolls-Royce engine is run for 7 hours on full throttle, which means, and each car is tested with hundreds of miles. So it's showing the quality and the patient attention to detail like mentioned in the headline. So every single engine is run for 7 hours. So it's going to work. It's guaranteed to work. So that fear of, it may break down on the motorway, or we may break down on the road, you may be shot in the middle of nowhere, that fear is completely gone. And it also touches on the idea of the pain and fear that the car is safe to drive. And it also touches on the Rolls-Royce design as an owner-driven car, and it's 18 inches shorter than the largest domestic vehicles, making it more agile, and obviously meaning it's faster, which at the time, the market desire was all about horsepower. Now, here, number 4, the car's power steering, power brakes, and automatic gear shift. It's very easy to drive and to park, no chauffeur required. That is a common objection that they're overcoming there. People may be thinking, well, if it's fast, it may be hard to steer. It may be manual, may be hard to drive. I'm going to struggle to park. I may need a chauffeur. This has bashed out every single objection the consumer's thinking. The car has power steering, boom, easy to steer. Power brakes, boom, strong brakes that are very easy to use. It's automatic, boom, not a manual, no loads of gears, not a lot of effort needed to drive this vehicle. It also emphasizes it by saying it's very easy to drive and to park, so it turns that feature into a benefit, and it finishes with no chauffeur required, which basically means it's very easy to drive. Then number 5, the finished car spends a week in the final test shop being fine-tuned. Here, it is subject to 98 separate ordeals. For example, you need to use a stethoscope to listen for any whine. Now, this is showing the quality and the attention to detail per vehicle. So it spends a week in a final test. Once it's done, it then spends another week in the test shop being fine-tuned, which basically means it's already good, but it's just finished off the touches. Now, it is subject to 98 separate ordeals, which means that it's basically forced to do 98 other different tests and things like that, even though the product's already done, which clearly shows the quality and attention to detail. And an example of this, the engineers use a stethoscope to listen for any actual whining, which shows the quality in the material and the product and the high attention to detail. High quality, high attention to detail proves the value in the product, which then allows you to charge quite high prices, hence just under 14k for this product. Now, number 6, new mark dealers and postage badge from coast to coast service is no problem. Basically saying that the car can just go from coast to coast. It's not going to break down. It can travel far and wide. Not going to have any problems with it. Now, number 7, the Rolls-Royce radiator has never changed, except that when Sir Henry Royce died in 1933, and obviously the monogram RR was changed from red to black, which basically shows that it's a very authentic vehicle. It never changes, everything stays the same, which means it's reliable, it means it's not going to break down here, and just kind of getting rid of all the consumer objections in the head. Now, number 8, the coachwork is given 5 coats of primer paint and hand rub between coat before 9 coats of finishing paint goes on, which again is just really showing the quality here. So it's not just saying it is given 5 coats and that's it. It's saying every single time one of the primer paint coats is added, you're then hand rubbing it in. Then after that, 9 coats are then added, which is then hand rubbing. So it's showing the kind of value and the quality in the product here. And number 9, by moving a switch on the steering column, you can adjust the shock absorbers to suit road conditions. This is overcoming an objection because they may have bumpy roads, it may be uncomfortable to drive in, it may not be comfortable, but this is basically saying that you can adjust the switch, which will kind of make the vehicle more prominent to driving, make it easier to drive, making it more comfortable. It's all in your hands as well, so it's fully customizable to you. Then number 10, a picnic table veneered in French walnut slides out from under the dash. 2 more swing out behind the front seats. So again, it's talking about the fact that you've got that comfortable aspect in it. It's very premium. Also, because it has so many tables, if you're a businessman, you could potentially work from in there. You could do your books in there. You could write things in there. So it's kind of tailoring certain benefits to a certain market. If you're a businessman, you're in a rush and you're on bumpy roads, you made a lot of traveling, you want it smooth. That's why you've got a moving switch on the steering column. You've got tables in the back in case someone else wants to drive. Maybe a chauffeur, and then you want to do some work, so you can use them tables. You can also put your family in there as well. You can also potentially do the schoolwork whilst driving. Then number 12, there are 3 separate systems of power brakes, 2 hydraulic, 1 mechanical. Damage to one system will not affect the others. So firstly, it's talking about technical details. And it's also showing that the consumer thinking with all these aspects in it, if any damage occurs, it may affect the actual vehicle. So it's stating the consumer objection, damage to one system will not affect any of the others. Then again, all about safety, and it says the Rolls-Royce is a very safe car, and it's also a very lively car. It cruises serenely at 85 top speed. It's in excess of 100 miles per hour. So at the time the market desire is all about horsepower and speed. So its top speed is 100 miles per hour, which is very good. And it also talks about it being smooth and cruising serenely, which is very smooth at 85. So if you are a businessman in a rush and you want power and peace of mind, safety and smoothness and whatever, this is obviously the product for you. Then number 13, the Bentley is made by Rolls-Royce. Experts for the radiators, they are identical motor cars manufactured by the same engineers in the same works. People who feel different about driving a Rolls-Royce can buy a Bentley. This shows that the car is not just for modest people, it's for that businessman who wants that desire of horsepower and speed. And if you do want a modest vehicle, go and buy a Bentley. And at the time, obviously, Bentleys cost $300 less because its radiator isn't simpler to make, essentially. And if people obviously don't like the Rolls-Royce, they can just go and buy that. But this basically just talks about that it's safe and it's lively, and they don't brag about substance and backup claims and things like that. And then an earlier point An earlier point just missed on here was number 6. Basically talked about that the PR is Rolls-Royce is guaranteed for 3 years with a network of dealers and part depots from coast to coast. Service is no longer any problem, which basically means that you get in your vehicle, it's safe, it's not going to break down, it's going to last a very long time. If it does break down, it's got a guarantee of 3 years. If it does break down at any point, there are coast to coast networks of different dealers and part depots. You can easily get it fixed. It's not going to be a problem for you. Then it says service is no longer a problem. Then at the end, it just basically says the CTA, if you'd like the rewarding experience of driving the Rolls-Royce or Bentley, write or telephone one of the dealers listed on the opposite page. So that is an ad. That is the ad breakdown. Now let's talk about how this can help you with your Facebook ads or any other marketing efforts. So firstly, you need to understand what experience they're really looking for. A lot of customer and market research has gone into this. And to write better copy, you need to consider what kind of experience your readers are looking for. Don't make this up. Speak to the customers, read reviews, understand how your product service can actually connect them with their needs and wishes. Now, what do your customers actually truly want? So to write persuasive copy, consider what your customers actually want. How does your product or service improve their lives where possible? Cover benefits across physical, financial, social, and spiritual needs. Now, how do you actually write better copy? Very, very simple. Add facts, add testimonials to demonstrate how good your product service is. For example, say you've got hundreds of reviews, thousands of reviews for a skincare brand. You can say, we've helped thousands of people end acne. Very, very simple. Add facts, add testimonials, things like that to demonstrate how good the product service actually is. Think about the image you want to portray in your sales copy and use specific details to illustrate that. So illustrate fuzzy concepts like ease of use, attention to detail. How can you do that? Ease of use. You can say it's automatic, like it was in this ad. Attention to detail. Every single seat is upholstered by 8 sheets of premium British leather. For example, attention to detail. They'll use a stethoscope to listen to whining after it's been tested. High quality, the leather thing. Excellent customer service. You can see the coast to coast aspect of any issues you have, and it's guaranteed for 3 years. Let people imagine what it's like to work with you, to use your product, and picture things in their head. Now, this is a very popular one. Hesitations. Consider why people might hesitate to buy your product. How can you overcome those hesitations in your copy? As you read earlier, also in the ad, it clearly states that in the Rolls-Royce ad, it talks about safety a lot and how the vehicle can, drive smoothly at a very high speed, how you can adjust things due to bumpy road conditions, things like that. Those are what people are thinking, and obviously the product solves that. So think of the hesitations and then answer that in the marketing message. And finally, technical details. Technical details can actually make the sales copy more interesting. Explain advantage of each detail and clarify how that advantage delivers a true benefit. And just some final notes. Always provide examples and then always talk about benefits instead of features. Try and lead with a big idea, like you did in this ad, and you can really produce images that and kind of phrase that people can really imagine, picture it in their head. Never brag about substance and always back up claims. Explain kind of fuzzy concepts. For example, if you say the seats are upholstered with 8 hides of British leather, you can then say that's actually enough to make 128 pairs of soft shoes, like it says in the ad. So the consumer's going, oh, wow, that's cool. Because if you said the seats are upholstered with 8 hides of British leather, they were like, oh, okay. But because you said that's enough to make 128 pairs of, not just shoes, soft shoes, it clearly shows the quality in it and how much leather is being used. So that is the famous Rolls-Royce ad breakdown. If you found this video helpful, please do feel free to subscribe, hit the notification bell and like this video. If you have anything else to add to this video, just drop that in the comment section below. Also, feel free to drop any questions you have in the comment section below also. Now, if you want me to run your ads, underneath this in the description there is a link titled I want Ethan Bailey to run my ads. Click that, book a call, and then we can potentially look at working together. If not, no worries. Hope you enjoy the videos. And that is everything, and I'll see you all on Thursday.